Just to preface, if I ramble a lot, it is because this is my fourth time attempting on recording this video. The first 3 times I have tried using my phone, I do not have enough storage on my phone. So every single time I would record, it would cut off abruptly because I just did not have enough storage on my phone. So we're gonna be using my streaming setup. So with that out of the way, in case you don't know, hi, my name is Denise. I'm the owner of Den Studio, a crochet business here in New York City, and I just wanted to do a little recap of how this year was because I realized that as you get older, by the way, I'm not even old, I'm 22 years old, but as you get older, I feel like you crave this sense of nostalgia more and more often, and a lot has happened in 2025, throughout the world, socially, economically, politically, so much stuff. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I feel like my life has changed a lot in just 1 year. And I just wanted to go over that a little bit because I want you guys to get to know me. I also want to get to know you guys a little bit more, just create, a little bit of a community. So I am, 22 years old. I am born and from New York City. And in 2023, I started selling my crochet goods in a bakery. And I worked part-time at this bakery, and I was very lucky that I had a very generous boss who would allow me to put my products out and allow bakery customers to look at them, interact with them, and that would also allow me to watch customer behaviors. And in the beginning, my name was actually not Den Studios. For my OG followers, you would know that it was Dens the NYC. It just meant Dens of New York City. I think "de" means of in Spanish. But yeah, I started out with that name because at the time I didn't know what I really wanted to do just yet. I had learned how to crochet because of TikTok. During that time, a lot of people were doing a temperature blanket where they would crochet one row with a specific color corresponding to the temperature of that day. I saw that and I thought, oh, what if I do a mood blanket? That'd be really fun and easy. And I had also learned how to knit in middle school, but I had not learned how to crochet. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this is my time assigned for me to learn how to crochet. And as soon as I bought yarn and have a little hook in my hand, the world just expanded. It just opened my eyes. So that's just how I started. I started out selling flowers, and I actually sold flowers up until this year. I think earlier this year, maybe around summertime, maybe I would say, is when I decided, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna continue selling flowers anymore. And the reasoning behind that is because I feel like, especially in New York City, you can find a lot of Temu, Shein, AliExpress dropshippers, and where they would, purchase crochet goods and then sell them as their own, when in reality they did not hand make those at all. And I thought, okay, well, I want to, distinguish myself from these people. And you learn this in business school where you need to have a competitive edge against, everyone else in order to stand out. And so I thought, what can I do to separate myself from everyone else? It took me a bit for me to really think about what I wanted to do, how I was going to distinguish myself from other crochet businesses here in New York City. During that time, Happy, my dog, she had a little bit of a health scare, and she is, she's getting old. She's 15 years old, and during that time, we found out that either her kidneys or her liver, I don't remember which one it was, but they're not performing as well as they should be because she's getting a little bit old. I realized at that time that because Happy is my childhood dog, if she were to not make it this year, at least I could create and sell products so that everyone else can carry a memory of her. And so that was kind of the inspiration of my puppy plushies. All my patterns, my puppy plushies, my keychains, they're all inspired by her. That was kind of the turning point of my business, I would say. And in 2024, I had decided after a 2-month long trip, I decided that I don't want to work for anyone else. I have a hard time with following rules that don't make sense or are a bit excessive to me. And I decided, you know what, let me just put all my time and effort into this one thing. And, you know, if it doesn't work out, then at least I know that I tried. So that was kind of the beginning of Then Studios. And 2025 was the first year that I had solely relied on my business financially. In 2024, in between being a student, having a part-time job as a barista, as well as trying to work on my small business, I couldn't really have time to do everything. I decided to go for the full jump and go straight into my business. And although there are many things that I want to work on, growing that I still need to do, I feel like I learned a lot more than I ever have when it comes to working, for other people. Looking back, I think it was June or July was when I decided that I wanted to do workshops, my little puppy pouch keychain workshops. I'm sure that many of you have followed me because you see my videos. I'm not someone who really uses social media like that, where I always post about my life or about whatever, about whatever. If you are running a small business, you have to be that person. You have to learn how to be that person, because if you don't, you're not gonna get anything from it. That's when I started getting a little bit more recognition. I started receiving follow backs from bigger crochet creators that I looked up to, became mutuals, even friends with them, which I'm very happy about. I finally get to make online friends, which I never really had in the first place. A lot has changed in the last 6 months of the year, and I couldn't really ask for anything different. It just feels so surreal for me to say oh, I'm a small business owner and all my money comes from my small business. We'll have to preface, if you guys, any of you guys are watching that want to start a crochet business, I highly suggest you really look into your life and think about where you are and how you can sustain your lifestyle, because I'm very privileged to say that I live with my family. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have any bills to pay besides my credit card bills. I don't really have any expenses that I would have to constantly worry about. I could be a little bit naive to say, but I think, or I hope, no, I will say that it will work. It will work. You gotta think positively. But yeah, I do want to preface that I don't want to sugarcoat things, because there's already a lot of it on social media where it's oh, if you put your head to it and you work really hard, then it's gonna work out. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I wish it really did, but it didn't. If that was the case, we would have a lot more millionaires and billionaires than we do right now. So that's just a bit about me and how Then Studios came to be. I did do a little Q&A or post it on my Instagram if you guys had any questions for me, for me to answer. So I'll just do that right now. The first one is, okay, not a question, but I love your account so much and your plushies are just so cute. Thank you very much. It definitely took a long time for me to figure out my niche, because I think when you start out, you see a bunch of different types of images and different art styles, within the crochet community, and it made me really wonder, oh, what can I do to make myself stand out? I really enjoy maximalism and just making things look really cute as much as possible. I just feel the more things you have, the cuter it is. I'm not really a big fan of minimalism, and it's really hypocritical for me to say because my entire closet is black. I don't have any color in my wardrobe besides white, black, and maybe gray and maybe brown, but those are all the 4 colors that I wear. So yeah, thank you so much for that comment. Next question is, what's your favorite thing you've made this year? If I were to collectively say, I definitely will say that my puppy plushies are one of my favorite things I've ever made this year, purely because I have so much creative freedom when it comes to it. I'll just think of an idea and I'll definitely workshop it in my head, and as I'm crocheting it and putting on the plushie and stuff, I feel it always, not to toot my own horn, but I feel it always turns out cute. I will say though, definitely in the beginning when I was still trying to figure out how I can make things my own style, I definitely feel some of the plushies I made in the beginning are a little bit bland and not as cute as I could have made them. But you know, it is what it is. I can't do anything about that now. Second favorite thing I made this year are the plushies that I've made during the winter break. At the time of recording and posting this, I'm, you know, in my winter break, and I've also decided to take a break from markets and just trying to take a breather on making plushies and like the idea of having to make money and all that stuff. At some point you will burn out. I've learned, you know, myself and other artists have experienced the overall concept of creative burnout. So all the recent plushie posts that I've had on my Instagram where I've purchased these patterns before in the past, but I haven't really had time to make them, I really enjoy how those turned out, because again, I'm not worried about anything else. Yeah, I feel like those are my favorite things I've made this year. Oh, and also my cuff sleeves. I am a very warm person. During the summer, spring, fall, even like winter, I'm very warm. And in order to, you know, cool myself down, I love to have a little sweet drink, a little bubble tea, if you will. I hate having the condensation on my hands and my hands be wet and cold. I never really liked that feeling. So I was thinking, okay, what is something I can do to combat this? Because I don't want to constantly be wiping my hands of like all this condensation. I decided, okay, what if I'm making a little cup sleeve? And I'm still waiting for people to fully grasp and understand how good a cup sleeve is, because to every single person that I've given or made a cup sleeve for, they're like, yeah, I can't drink drinks without having a cup sleeve now. So that is my number 3, and y'all need to put some more respect on that damn cup sleeve. Next question. What inspired you to put the plushies in a cute little thing and decorate it? So I'm guessing this person means my puppy pouches. If you couldn't tell, like, I love cinnamon roll. Yeah, you can tell on my bed. I love cinnamon roll so much, and I also just love keychains and having things hang from my bag. And so whenever my keychains would get dirty, I would always feel bad and I wouldn't want to throw it out, right? And so I was thinking, oh, what are some ways I can combat this and protect them from, you know, weather, dirt, and keep them as like pristine looking and as cute as they can be. And so that's when I was doing a little researching, and I found these PVC pouches where I would put them inside, and I was thinking, okay, well, this is kind of cute, but then the outside's a little bit bland, so what can I do with that? And then that, you know, inspired the idea of my workshop and my puppy pouches in general. It was purely just a way of trying to protect my plushies from getting dirty, and then it kind of just eventually developed into this whole thing, which, you know, I like it. Next question. It's not really a question. Binka just submitted this photo. I'm gonna put it on the screen, but my mans, thank you Binka for that submission, even though it's not really a question. And last question is, how to grow a crochet account on social media? I'm sure if you're someone who's trying to grow their social media account, you see a lot of posts online where it's like, oh, how to grow your social media account. You have to post constantly, find your niche, be really dedicated, and like blah, 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 blah. I am here to say, unfortunately, that is how it works. You do have to constantly post every day. You do have to find your own niche. It does take a lot of effort to find something that eventually lead your brand or your social media account into something that is worth following. You know what I mean? Out of all the advice that online gurus would give, what is the most important? I think building your own niche is the most important thing you can do. If your products or your posts look like everyone else's, what differentiates you from everyone else? Like, why would someone follow you compared to like another person? And so I think that's the best advice I can really give you, is just try to find something that is original and that is true to you, and you will eventually just find people that agree and like the things that you like. Oh, it's so cold. And I think if you were to look some of the bigger crochet accounts on Instagram, they have their own niche. They have their own specific look, whether it be the type of plushies they make, their photos, their editing, their backgrounds, the type of patterns that they create and their release. I feel like the bigger crochet accounts really have an understanding of what makes them unique while comparing themselves to other people. Business 101, you have to have a competitive edge. unfortunately that's just how it is nowadays, and I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I can't give you anything creative or like original that you haven't heard online, but that's just how it is. I'm so sorry. Honestly, in the beginning I would just post 2 to 3 times a day every day, and it is a lot. That gives you the ability to kind of experiment and throw shit at a wall and see what really sticks, right? There was a point in my content creation where it was just be like my face and kind of jokey style videos where it did like okay. It's not like the best, but I was, you know, trying something different, and I realized, you know what, it didn't really work. So yeah, I mean, that is all I really have to say. Thank you for staying and watching this video, supporting me on social media. I hope that you had an okay year. Give a round of applause to yourself for making out of this year alive, whether or not it was a good, bad, happy, or sad year. I'm very glad that you're here and that you made it and that you stayed to the end of this video, because it was genuinely just a 20-minute video of me just talking. And just talking about like my life and my year. So I thank you very much, and I hope that, you know, next year would be better for everyone in general. And if you want to continue to support me, you can follow me on this channel, follow me on social media. I am starting to stream more over on Twitch. If you're a gamer as well as a crocheter, we can, you know, talk more and be more personal over there. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me grab Happy. Happy! Oh, the baby. It's a little baby. Happy, look. Happy is always like super camera shy, and she can pinpoint where a camera is. I don't know how. You gotta look. You gotta say goodbye. Bye-bye. You're gonna say something to the people? Oh. You say something to the people? No, she's not interested in talking to you guys. I'm sorry. Her lawyer says she can't speak unless she has legal representative with her. But thank you so much you guys for watching and supporting. I hope I see you guys later. Bye bye.